in this lecture, we will try to finish the something definition of the charge and superposition principle, the Coulomb's law, and somewhat electric field and one numerical problem. So as you all are aware about the charges, the fundamental charges that are associated with the electron and proton. So charges are the fundamental properties of the matter that can be in the quantized form. Any charge, suppose we are talking about any charge that is 2 coulomb, can be written as n into E, where E is the fundamental charge. That is, the value of E is minus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. Or instead of E, it can happen that it is n into P. Like P will be 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 charge, minus 19 coulomb. So these are two fundamental charges that are associated with the matters. So these are the charges that are responsible for the any force between the two material or any repulsion between the two materials. So we are going to talk about the effect of one charge on the other. Like suppose we have some place where already one charge is there, and we place our other charge Q2 in this field, then what will happen to this charge Q2 and this charge Q1? So this we are going to study in the detail now. So or else we can say that suppose in the field of many charges, Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6, many charges are placed there, and the field created by these charges are like this. And suppose if we place one charge Q1 in this field, then what force it will exert on the charge Q1 and all. And the electric field due to this charge Q2, Q3, and Q4 and Q5. We are going to study this one also. So when any charge, new charge is placed in the field of this all charges, then what will be the behavior of it and the characteristic of it? This is facilitated by the principle of superposition. Principle of superposition. What the principle of superposition tells us? It tells us that that interaction between any two charges is completely unaffected by the other charges. For a simple explanation, I can say that suppose the charge Q1 is here, and let us make it as capital Q, and this is test charge, and we have another charge Q1 here, that is a source charge. Okay, so principle of superposition states that any force exerted on this charge capital Q, FQ, will only by the Q1, because only the charge the only charge present here is the Q1, and that can be written as F force on the Q is due to the solely due to the charge 1. Suppose the charge Q1 is already present here, and we are putting another charge named Q2 here, then what will be the effect of this charge Q2 on Q1 and the capital Q? So according to the principle of superposition, this charge Q2 will not affect this charge Q1 in any ways when we are talking about the force on the charge capital Q. So it will be like F force on charge Q due to first charge, and force on the charge Q due to the second charge 2. We don't have any cross terms like this. Force on charge capital Q due to Q1 and Q2. No, we don't have this kind of situation here. That's what a principle of superposition suggests us. That the interaction, the force exerted on the capital charge is completely unaffected by the presence of the many charges. It will be like the force due to the first charge, addition of the force due to the second charge. That's it. if many charges are present there, suppose we have a many charges here, q1 to qn, and we have a test charge q here, then the force on charge q will be equal to the force due to charge 1 plus it will be a vector sum force due to the charge 2 till the force due to the charge n. So this is what the superposition principle is. Let us talk about the Coulomb's law. So in these two things, we understand that in the first thing, we understand that each material consists of charge and that will exert some force on the other charges. The principle of superposition suggested it or facilitated us that the behavior of charge when one charge is placed near to the other charge. Now let us talk about the actual amount of the force that is exerted on the charge Q, capital Q, when it is present in the system of charges or the single charges. So the Coulomb's law gives us that value, that exact numerical value, that how much force on a charge Q will be exerted by the charge Q1 to Qn. For this, consider only a single charge Q. This is the source charge and the test charge Q. This is the test charge. So Coulomb's law states that the force on the charge Q will be directly proportional to the multiplication of charge capital Q and the small q. And it will be inversely proportional to the distance between these two charges. This is distance between these two charges. When we combine both of this, when we remove the proportionality sign, then we will get F is equal F on the capital Q as the one constant, that is K, multiplication of Q dot Q divided by R square, the R unit vector. The direction of this force will be from Q to capital Q. This will be the R unit vector. This is unit vector. So this is what a principle of the Coulomb's law states as the force on any charge will directly proportional to the multiplication of both the charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. What it means that as you increase, suppose this is the charge Q, and this is the another charge Q, the force between them will be something F value. Suppose we decrease the distance to somewhat less, the force between them is F2. This is F1, F2. So as distance between these two charges is decreased, and this is inversely proportional, force is inversely proportional, so the F2 will be greater than F1. And if value of Q and Q2 will be increased, then F2 will be more also. So here the K is the proportionality constant that is written as 4 pi divided by epsilon naught, and epsilon naught is written as the permittivity of a free space that has a value of 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12 coulomb squared Newton per meter. This constant suggests us that the permittivity of the free space, like how much permittive is the space to charges, to the fields. Let us move to the electric field. We understood that the force between the two charges is given by the Coulomb's law, that it is directly proportional to the charges square, the multiplication of the charges are inversely proportional to the r square. So this is between the two charges. Suppose this is q, again the test charge is again capital Q. So we have a force between these two charges just because there is, okay, let me take in another way. Suppose this test charge is removed, okay, so the space will be something like this. The test charge is now removed. This test charge is now removed. So this place will be empty. Yes, this is the question, that the place will be empty or not. Okay, this place will not, suppose this place is empty, there is nothing in this place, this is like a free space, then how, whenever I am placing this test charge in this field, then it is exerting, this small q is exerting force on the capital Q charge. So if this capital Q is removed, this test charge is removed, then what will be there in this free space? There should be something in this free space, because if there is nothing in this free space, then how this small charge q is exerting force on the capital Q charge? There should be something in this free space, and that something is called electric field, because for each charge there is something electric field related to that charge, the specific charge, and its a value simply is given as the k q by r square, where q is the amount of the charge, k is the again that constant 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and r is the distance where we want to find the electric field. So suppose from this point to this point, this is the distance r. We want to find the electric field at a point P, then this is the distance r, and it decreases radially. So electric field at a different distance will be a different, and it decreases as r increases. An electric field, this is due to this is the electric field due to the one charge. Suppose we have assembly of charges, many charges, q1, q2, this is q3, qn. This is many charges. We have assembly of a many charges, and we want to find the electric field at this distance. So this distance will be Rn. This is Q2. So this will be R2, like that, up till the point P. This is the point P. So the electric field at a point P due to this many charges will be again like a superposition principle. The electric field at the point P will be summation of, due to the summation of the electric field due to the single charges, like K, Q1, the distance will be R1 square, again plus K, Q2, R2 squared. In the similar way, K, Qn divided by Rn squared. Here you can see we have removed the capital Q charge from the point P. Now we are not placing the capital Q charge. So the electric field tells us the property of characteristic of the source charges, that something is related to the source charges, whether we place a capital Q charge or not, but there should be something related to the small q charges. So this is what a electric field tells us. One more thing, the electric field due to the positive charges will be always radially outward, like this. And electric field due to the negative charges will be inward, like this will work as sink, and positive charge will work as the source. We also have a direction of electric field. This is a vector quantity. So if we want to make it vector, then we have to add a unit vector here, Rn. And this Rn points from the charge to the point P. So let us take one numerical to understand it clearly. We have given, suppose we need to find electric field at this point P, which is this point, this is charge Q, this is charge Q. The distance between these charges is D, and this point P is exactly above this, exactly above the midpoint of the two charges, and the distance between P and the position A is Z. So as I told you that due to the positive charge, electric field always been radial outward direction. So these both are positive two charges. We need to find the electric field at a point P due to this Q and this Q charge. Let us make it as a first Q charge. Both Q charges are same. Just to distinguish, we are making it as a 1 and 2. So we will let us take a point P. So due to this second charge, the electric field will be in this direction. This is the exact perpendicular. Okay. And this is X direction. This is Y direction. This is minus X direction. So this electric field, this is E2, is due to the second charge, and there will be electric field due to the first charge. We have a given angle between this. Suppose this is theta. And this will be also be a theta. So according to that angle, this will be theta and this will be a theta also. So let us take the component of E1 in the X and Y direction. So we will have the components like this is E1 sine theta. This will be E2 sine theta. And this will be E1 cos theta. Again, E2 cos theta. But the one thing, as electric field is proportional to the Q divided by R square, and the value of R, this is R here, distance from Q to P is R, and this will be same. This will be R also, because the point P is exactly in between the midpoint of these two charges. So this amount of Q, the Q amount for this is same, whether it is a first charge or second charge. So this magnitude of E1 will be equal to E2. So here the component E1 sine theta and E2 sine theta, that is exactly in opposite direction, that will cancel each other. This component and this component, that will be E sine theta. Let us call it as E sine theta, and this will also be a E sine theta. And angle is also same, so that will cancel each other. So we will not talk about the E sine theta now. We will just have the final E at P will be in the Y direction. In the Y direction, we have E1 cos theta plus E2 cos theta, but E1 and E2 are same, so we will combine it as 2E cos theta. And the amount of E will be decided by the charge small q. So for E, we have K Q by R square. This we will write it as 2KQ by R square. For cos theta, what we can say, Cos theta will be cos theta will be AP by R. Cos theta will be AP by R. So this is AP by R. So 2KQ, this is RQ, and in place of AP, we can write Z. So applying the Pythagorean triangle, this is Z, this is D by 2, this will be Z square plus D square by 4 under root. So E at P will be written as 2KQ Z R cube. In place of R cube, we will write it as Z square D square by 4. It will be 3 by 2. The Y direction. This is Y direction and this is Z direction. Sorry, this is X direction. So in the X direction, the components got cancelled, but in the Y direction, the component gets twice, like due to the E1 and due to the charge Q at the first place and due to the charge Q at the second place, this will merge. This the electric field due to the two charges will merge. So this is the electric field at the P location due to both the charges. Thank you very much.